shattering. The whole El Haddle world is going to be rocked by the ramifications from the court's recent shocking revelation, which no one expected coming. Kirk Frost. Calm, but the official winner is extremely serious. His legal struggle with Jasmine, and according to reports, the repercussions for her are disastrous. Social media is already ablaze with fans declaring that this is the year's most stunning turn of events. However, what really transpired behind closed doors? Insiders said the atmosphere in the courtroom was electrifying. Kirk, seeming calm but uncompromising, offered proof that supposedly disproved Jasmine's allegations one by one, exposing her to the furthest extent possible. Jasmine's admirers, meanwhile, were in complete shock. Some said they were shocked by what they just saw. The drama doesn't end there, however. This is only the start. The public is now demanding to see every hidden communication, unreleased, recording and startling revelation about Jasmine's personal life that may have been involved in the case, according to sources. Specifics. Her affiliations were questioned, and her reputation was destroyed. And Kirk, standing tall, defended and poised for action. Keep yourself locked in because the courtroom fireworks are only the beginning, and fans will be utterly stunned by what follows. You won't believe the person pursuing Jasmine. Never before have the stakes been so high. The courtroom was crowded, buzzing with a force that was little more than stress. There was a frenzy on the internet as reporters and fans crowded the streets outside, broadcasting live every second. As soon as the doors opened, the Kirkwins began trending. Within, the scenario was equally thrilling. Kirk Frost came in, cool-headed and almost indestructible. All eyes were on him, and his very presence seemed to stop the murmuring. He was well-groomed, his outfit was spotless, and his attitude was unflinching. Guy who was aware that he had spent his whole life preparing for this moment. Jasmine sat on the other side of the courtroom, clearly disturbed. According to insider reports, she fidgets and checks her. She was constantly on the phone and speaking to her lawyer, who seemed to be becoming more and more irritated as the case progressed. She had overestimated Kirk's preparedness, according to sources, believing she could use the outpouring of compassion on social media to influence the court. However, Kirk's team had foreseen every maneuver, every falsehood, every exaggeration, and had prepared indisputable proof to oppose it. When Kirk's lawyer produced the first piece of evidence, a string of text conversations exchanged between a Jasmine and an enigmatic individual that directly contradicted her earlier assertions, the tension increased. Whispers broke out in the courtroom. In an attempt to gather herself, Jasmine's lawyer requested a little break as soon as her face became pale. Online fans went crazy, sharing images and making theory videos, analyzing every word in the texts, which, according to reports, depicted manipulation, exaggeration, and even efforts to mislead important witnesses. Then came the video proof, a series of recordings apparently revealing Jasmine's activities behind the scenes, moments that she had sought to conceal. Insiders saw the video as catastrophic from the public's perspective, and the courtroom release was a calculated move. Jasmine was forced to respond publicly to her own exposure after Kirk's crew set them up to create tension by releasing one footage at a time. She seemed more and more imprisoned, according to witnesses in the courtroom. Understanding the story she had painstakingly created online was falling apart in front of her. Kirk, however, kept his composure throughout. According to others close to him, he had rehearsed his arguments for weeks, preparing for every possible rebuttal from Jasmine. He was well aware of when to say nothing and when to let the facts do the talking. According to one source, Jasmine seemed to crumble under the pressure, and confidence just made the situation more chaotic. Social internet was ablaze with responses. Supporters were split, with some applauding Kirk's win and saying he had been harmed for years, while others stood up for Jasmine, saying she was being unjustly singled out. Influencers started sharing videos that included analysis of the data, snippets of Jasmine's emotions, and fallout predictions. With every update stoking the flames, the internet storm fostered an environment of unrelenting conjecture. Nobody was able to avoid the courtroom drama that had spread to every corner of the internet. The tension was increased by the judge's remarks. According to insiders, every phrase was carefully chosen to highlight Kirk's compelling argument and to gently damage Jasmine's reputation without openly embarrassing her in front of the judge. It was an excellent lesson in legal tactic, which caused social media users to argue about each and every word of the transcript, examining facial expressions and making assumptions about the meanings concealed behind each word. Someone close to Kirk and Jasmine was summoned as a surprise witness halfway through the proceedings, and it was said that their evidence altered the outcome of the trial. By highlighting inconsistencies in Jasmine's assertions and verifying crucial points of the purported manipulation, the witness offered facts that are entirely consistent with Kirk's findings. As Jasmine's side scrambled to react, the courtroom gasped as the witness disclosed intimate information. Insiders say her legal team was in a frenzy behind the scenes, understanding that every effort to defend Kirk's last remark was given as the session came to a close, and it became clear that she was being methodically demolished. He spoke to the court straight, calm, composed, and unrelenting, outlining the facts, pointing out Jasmine's contradictions, and providing a clear picture of the situation. Sources claim that his remarks were thoughtfully written to appeal to both the court and the millions of people who watched online. His success appeared to be cemented with each statement that struck like a hammer. Disbelief, despair, and desperation were all mixed together in Jasmine's response. According to insiders, she attempted to make arguments. Information had previously been refuted, leading to several disruptions and the judge's repeated intervention. Even experienced reporters said the moment was so intense that it was unheard of in this courtroom. Kirk, however, was unfazed and continued to watch his opponent struggle while knowing that the fight was all but done. The courtroom was packed with whispering as the verdict drew near. Outside, fans held their breath as cameras recorded every moment. Then it took place. Officially, the court decided in Kirk Frost's favor. The room exploded. Jasmine was distraught, but Kirk remained calm and shook hands with his colleagues, clearly collapsing as the loss's truth struck in. Social media took off right away. Throughout the globe, hashtags including Bajent Kirk Winsk Court, Ashen Jasmine X Exposed, and LOHLD drama were popular. Minutes. The public's response was immediate and ranged from celebration to dismay. However, the judgment was not the end of the drama. Insiders claim that Kirk had set up for further evidence to be made available to the media only after the decision. A second wave of pandemonium was caused by screenshots, videos, and papers that showed off Jasmine's purported manipulations. As they rushed to evaluate each post, fans produced live debates, response videos, and viral threads. Now, the tale had spread outside of the courtroom and was a worldwide social media sensation. At last, the effects on Jasmine's private life started to show. According to sources, intimate friends and the companions were pulling away, unsure on how to respond to the negative public reaction. At once, there were rumors of strained relationships, shattered connections, and even professional repercussions. Even so, my fellow, according to reports, cast members were taken aback by the level of publicity, suggesting that Jasmine's impact with an LHATL may be much reduced. To put it simply, the legal triumph was just the start. Kirk had not only prevailed in the court case, but also obtained public validation, leaving Jasmine struggling to keep up any appearance of credibility. As soon as the courthouse doors closed, the trial's after-effects were already altering relationships, igniting social media pandemonium, and laying the groundwork for the next dramatic chapter in this never-ending story. It didn't end in chaos. Jasmine's lawyer walked her out, grumbling to herself and wiping away tears, according to the amplified horses on the scene. The cameras flocked, recording each tremor, each twitch, and each glance of incredulity. Fans outside were shooting live responses, sharing footage across social media, and speculating about what might happen next. The Jasmine meltdown trended within minutes, sending the internet into a frenzy. Each and every aspect was examined. Her facial expressions, her conversations with the reporters, and even her exit from the courts. Tensions backstage escalated to previously unheard-of levels. Several of Jasmine's closest supporters were in disbelief and confused of how to respond to the public backlash, according to insiders. There were rumors that some of her purported acquaintances were already pulling away, not wanting to be linked to someone whose reputation had just been destroyed. Kirk's team, meanwhile, was silently rejoicing because they knew that these texts weren't only fabricated. They allegedly revealed private information that may have disastrous repercussions outside of the courtroom. Fans rapidly assembled images, remarks, and video clips, igniting a flurry of conjecture. Influencers on social media instantly entered the conflict. conflict. Every frame of the courtroom video, every moment of Jasmine's tantrum, and even her conversations with reporters were examined by analysts. Kirk's poise was commended by others who said, while others questioned if Jasmine had any hope of preserving her image, he had perfected the art of public vindication. The debate was divisive, with contentious debates breaking out on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok comment areas. The excitement was stoked by each fresh post, guaranteeing that this story would take center stage. The news for some weeks to come. The stress was just as high within the LHTL production circle. According to reports, the cast met in secret rooms to discuss how the aftermath would impact future stories and filming. Some were concerned that the show's dynamics would completely shift if Jasmine's credibility were questioned. Others were worried about Kirk, pointing out that even if he had won legally, the public attention would cause unanticipated negative reactions. Insider information alluded to confidential sessions where producers discussed how to integrate this actual courtroom drama into the show's plot. Jasmine knew that fan interaction would increase dramatically. Therefore, her efforts to reclaim control soon failed. She attempted to defend herself in a number of social media postings, according to insiders, claiming that she had been unjustly singled out and misinterpreting the facts. Fans and influencers, however, analyzed every post, pointing out contradictions, previous remarks that went against her assertions, and subtly revealed information that called into question her argument. As a consequence, the public's criticism of her efforts to limit the damage only grew, as the huge body of facts started to undermine the Jasmine story. Kirk's team, however, used a calculated tactic and sent key media sites fragments of the judicial proceedings. These videos demonstrated Jasmine's contradictions, Kirk's cool-headed comments, and her responses to the facts. It was perfectly timed. The same as when Jasmine tried to take back the story on social media, the videos went viral, guaranteeing that Kirk was seen favorably by the general public. Insider accounts say that this media effort was precisely organized, meant to maximize the effect of Kirk's win and establish his image as the victorious, untouchable character in the developing drama. Tensions in Jasmine's camp became even worse. According to reports, close friends and colleagues convened emergency meetings to discuss how to manage the media frenzy. Some recommended issuing a public apology or explanation, while some countered that any answer would simply make the craze worse. After the courtroom defeat, rumors also started to circulate about possible legal consequences, such as claims that certain conduct would result in further inquiries or legal action. A pressure cooker atmosphere was produced by the confluence of social media instability and legal vulnerability, with Jasmine stuck in the center, stoking the flames. According to insiders, Kirk kept in touch with a number of influential people in the field to make sure his triumph would be felt outside of the courtroom. Rumor has it that he had support from powerful executives, producers, and even fellow cast members, forming a strong support system that made Jasmine feel more and more alone. Fans, meanwhile, conjectured incessantly about whether she would be able to save her career or reputation, and about possible retaliation coalitions that may emerge against her. Each viewpoint was examined, each motivation discussed, and each spilled information added levels of intricacy to the drama that is developing. Insiders claim that the response from Jasmine's close friends and family was among the most startling events. Relationships reportedly started to fall apart almost immediately after the ruling, with some people separating themselves to prevent being publicly chastised or accused. These rifts with fans were swiftly exacerbated by social media, as users speculated about possible admissions, covert alliances, and betrayals. Jasmine's personal repercussions were swiftly intensifying, and sources said that these changes would have repercussions that far beyond the El Haddle plot. As the evening wore on, rumors about Jasmine's next move became more intense. Would she face the public directly, try a different legal challenge, or avoid the limelight completely? Fans produced memes, response videos, and viral material while debating hypotheses. Although every turn of the tale was magnified by the wider media, the enormity of with millions of people watching and anticipating the next revelation, the media made Jasmine's aftermath a cultural event. By the end of the day, it was evident that Kirk Frost had not only prevailed in the legal struggle, but also established a strong reputation in the public and legal spheres. Meanwhile, Jasmine was left fumbling, Her supporters were unsure about what to do, and her credibility declined. Insiders claim that this was just the start of what would probably be a multi-layered story that would have a lasting impact for months to come, full of social media upheaval, media scrutiny, and personal repercussions. The consequences were just getting worse, with fresh leaks, rumors of betrayals occurring behind the scenes, and mounting conjecture on Jasmine's future. Every post, every video, and every rumor was being examined by fans who were riveted to their devices. According to industry insiders, this court case would go down as one of the most dramatic and well-publicized events in El Chattel history, a watershed that might reshape alliances, relationships, and careers for all parties. And one thing was certain as the night went on. Few could have predicted how Kirk Frost had cemented his triumph. Jasmine was on the verge of total collapse in terms of her life, reputation, influence, and status. It was not the end of the tale. It was just getting worse, with even more startling disclosures, treacherous turns, and breathtaking scenes to follow in the next chapters. Few people in the El Chattel world have seen a media storm like the one that shook up the city the morning after the courtroom shockwave. Had seen Kirk's success, Jasmine's loss, and the disastrous consequences that followed were all over the headlines. Insiders, however, said that the drama extended beyond the news. It was blowing up in ways nobody could have imagined behind the scenes. Witnesses said that when Jasmine arrived to her apartment, she saw it packed with reporters and photographers, who had somehow managed to get inside. Her phone continued to ring and was inundated with messages from admirers, relatives, and friends. Previously under her control, a number of accusing and supportive social media profiles turned into a war. Every post, article, and nuanced clue that may have hinted at her future move was examined by fans. There were rumors about private recordings that would be discovered, possible legal blunders, and covert text conversations with Kirk. Kirk, however, was said to be in a whole other reality. According to sources, he was having joyous sessions with his lawyer, team, producers, and important members of the El Chattel cast. The triumph extended beyond the courtroom. It has to do with power, influence, and narrative control. That's what industry insiders muttered. In order to broadcast specific trial footage that portrayed Kirk as calm, calculated, and unbeatable, his team had previously negotiated exclusive agreements with media outlets. Jasmine's emotional outbursts were emphasized in the video, which strengthened the impression that she was unstable and unreliable. The pressure cooker in Jasmine's camp was getting worse. According to reports, close friends and confidants were debating their approaches. Some were calling for a public declaration, while others cautioned that any reaction might have disastrous consequences. The insiders said that the division was becoming so sharp that it will soon be the result of internal conflicts becoming public fights. Fans conjectured endlessly. Was there a deliberate release of information from Jasmine's end? Was she being prepared for a deeper fall? The turmoil increased as each rumor stoked a craze that didn't seem to be abating. A slew of revelations emerged that would rock Jasmine's world to its foundation. Screenshots were shared by anonymous sources, and internet video clips purportedly revealing confidential discussions and covert agreements that went counter to her public declarations. Fans quickly started piecing together timelines by comparing the disclosed material with social media postings. The internet took off. The number of viral threads, response videos, and memes increased rapidly. What had begun as a legal dispute had now developed into a significant cultural event. Within the El Chattel, tensions in the production offices escalated. According to reports, producers called emergency meetings because they were concerned about how the plot would be impacted by Jasmine's declining credibility. Some feared that the drama of the performance would be undermined if the public took a completely Kirk-supporting stance. Others said that by strategically scheduling episodes that highlight Jasmine's difficulties in maximizing audience engagement, her outburst may be used to boost ratings. Insiders claim that every possibility was being explored, including reshoots and casting changes, language alterations, and scene editing that would gently affect public opinion. Kirk's impact, however, went beyond productivity and the law. According to Realm sources, he had been planning a subdued but calculated media campaign while having private conversations with other members of the El Chattel cast. The objective was obvious: preserve his Jasmine and win the allegiance of those who